It's Ric without the K. James presents In My Opinion Podcast.
Don't forget to hit the subscribe button, as well as the notification bell. Thank you for watching.
All right. The next question, you guys, are what are some unsaid jabs? I wanted to do this because me and my girl had a discussion about it. She didn't understand it, so hopefully you guys can help me convey. And when I was telling her, I said, man, there's certain things that only a comic would know another comic is doing to fuck with them. Like hit a little jab, but you won't see it as an outsider. And because she was like, well, you need to learn how to be humble, and you need to be thankful for anybody that gives you stage time, all this bullshit. Where I was like, no. So I wanted to talk about that, discuss it a little bit. And I guess I'll give you an example, and this is one that bugs me a little bit, and you guys are going to say that I'm an asshole, and it's me being me, right?
Damn, fool, did you read my notes?
Yeah.
That's exactly what I wrote.
Is one of the things that comics do is they'll start running a room. Like I said, they'll start running a room or start running a night or whatever, wherever they're at. And then you'll come to them and be like, hey, man, can I get some time? Or you'll hit them up, you'll send them a message. And I feel like sometimes the newer comic will personally fuck with you and be like, send me a clip. Mm-hmm. Oh, man, that just irritates the fuck out of me. If I'm like, dude, you've been doing comedy 6 months, and I got to send you a clip and prove to you that I'm funny.
So how are they supposed to know if you're funny?
Like,
just trust you?
Just know that, especially in this area, in the Northern
Are you
California
funny? Yeah.
area.
Okay.
Like, just ask somebody. Like, hey, man, have you heard of Ric James? Like, my name
But
should be
dude,
able to be out there
if you go up to if I'm doing a show, if I'm a comic that's been doing comedy for 5 months, and you come up to me at my show and you say, oh, can I get some time? Or maybe the day before you ask me, can I get some time tomorrow on your show? I'm supposed to go do my research right then and there on you, just because
no, because
you've been doing it for a little bit longer than me.
Because I will tell you, the way that this happened is another comic was gonna do a show that I wanted to do, and I saw him there, and I was like, hey man, I'm friends with so and so. Do you mind if I can get some time just to guest set if you have anything open? And it wasn't like, oh, okay, cool. I was asking for a get set that night. And I put like, hey, man, if it can happen. But instead, I got a reply like, hey, send me a clip and we'll let you know type shit. And that's where I was just like, why wouldn't you just ask the other comic? Like, hey, man, you know so-and-so? Is he going to be funny? Can I put him up for 5 minutes?
Right.
And if the other comic didn't fucking vouch for me, then I'd blame it on that comic, not the motherfucking promoter. You know what I mean? So it's shit like that where I'm like, and I still ended up doing the show, knowing that I shouldn't have done the show. So that's kind of why we actually got together to do this podcast, because all other things happen, little jab shits that only comics do against one another, where I left the show and I was like, I knew I shouldn't have done the Friday show. That's why I made that little comment, is because I knew it was a bar show. I knew it was on Friday, and I knew that they were going to put me up. So you make me send the clip. You wait months to react to the clip and tell me I can come on. And then they do this other thing where I discuss is sometimes they'll have two different hosts in the show. So the first host will go up, and then 3 or 4 comics will go up. And the second host will go up, and 3 or 4 comics go up. Well, normally the funnier comics are at the end of it, after the second host, right? Okay. So, of course, they put me up on the first half of the show. And I'm just like, I don't mind too much because I know I'm going to stand out and do my thing. Yeah. But on the other hand, I know you're not paying me for this guest set, so put me in a spot so I can at least sell some merchandise and make some money type shit. But again, you might not be doing comedy long enough that you know that there's other ways that a comic may make money or whatever else. So it just started where I was just like, when I was driving home, I knew I shouldn't have went to the show. And my girl was like, why are you so mad? At least we got to get out. At least you got to do comedy. And I was like, yeah, but I lost money. I could have been doing something else other than this. I made $10. I drove all the way over here, an hour away from home to be here. Yeah. And it wasn't worth my time. And I'm upset because I knew when I asked for the lineup earlier that day, at that moment, and where I knew I was on the lineup and who was on the lineup, I should have just stayed my ass at home.
Why? Maybe next time you should ask. No, well, I mean, honestly, it sounds like no. Maybe you shouldn't go, right? Because it doesn't. No, I mean, saying because the way you're describing it, you sound like you're regretting it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But there's two things to remember here. Number one, you should ask for what you want. If you're gonna ask, you should ask for what you want.
Yeah.
So next time, just be like, hey, can I get a guest set on your show? But I want it specifically at this time. Ask. I mean, it's fucking ridiculous, but you might as well ask for what you want. Number two, we should reiterate this. It's called a guest set for a reason.
Yeah.
You are my guest. You don't go to somebody's house, knock on their door, and be like, hey, man, can I stay here as your guest for 4 days?
In the master bedroom?
You don't fucking do that shit. If you're my guest, it's because I opened my door to you.
Yeah.
You are my guest.
You
didn't do a guest set. You did an invasion set. You did a raider set. You rated their show.
Hey, all you were missing was blanket with the chicken pox.
Because
I
didn't go up that same night. They made me wait months to come on. So it was after I sent the clip, do this, do that.
Okay, you weren't trying to get on the show that night.
I was trying to get on the show that night.
Okay, so you wanted to get into their You wanted to
that would have
infiltrate.
been the invasion.
You were doing an infiltration set, an infiltrator set. Then there's a difference. A guest set is like you show up to the club and then I see you and I'm like, hey Rick, you want to get on, man? Come on, jump on. Be my guest. You know what I'm saying? Like that's a guest set. So we got to remember that. All young comics, you know, if you're talking about guest sets amongst yourself, remember, don't be fucking rude. It's their show.
Yeah.
If they want you on, they'll ask you to be their guest.
And
Otherwise,
we've all had
otherwise
that on our shows, right? And normally, as a promoter, you'd be like, "Hey, man, sorry, I have too many comics this show, but get mad at me next show. I got you."
I never fucking say that.
If I wanted to give them a guest set,
no,
right?
I never fucking say that, bro, because I got shit going on that night. Like the promoter and whoever, like you come to my show. You should expect me to either say yes or no and then just leave it at that. Yeah. You know what I'm saying, bro? Like, don't fucking have these expectations that they're going to remember you. You're not special. Nobody's special. Like, none of us here are special. Nobody's going to remember, no matter how cool.
No, I'm saying that as a political answer back to them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, because I'm the first to tell you, no, sorry, I can't do it. Right. You know what I mean? And I'm to the point where I don't even really like ask for guest sets now. Neither. Because if I show up, the promoter, I know how it is. That day, you're busy as fuck. Right. You know what I mean? You got 50 million fucking things going on. You got people calling you, even though they got the flyer. Where's the address? Yeah. I'm like, bitch, look at the flyer. You know what I mean? So you're dealing with million motherfucking things. So I'll show up now.
What time's the show start? It's like, what the fuck? You're the headliner? You know bro, like the last thing a producer or promoter is thinking about after they fucking do the show, they fucking pay the comics, they square up with the club, they look at the final numbers. The last thing they're thinking on their way home is like, all right, man. First and foremost, I got to give Rudy that guest set on the next show.
Time,
Like I forget. I am a fucking memory of a memory in their mind at that point.
I get it. And sometimes, you know, how many times I've told someone, hey, man, I'll hook you up on a guest set. And I forgot I told them that.
First things first.
The next show, and you're like, God damn it, I did say that, didn't I? Like,
that's why you should never say that. You should just be like, nope, and don't expect anything later because I'm going to forget. Because I got more important things to think about.
That, motherfuckers? If you don't get on that night, you ain't never getting on.
I agree with that. It's tough for me to tell people no. And I'm like, God damn it, why would you? I'm in a vulnerable place right now because I'm running around like a chicken with his head cut off trying to get this show to make sure that it's going right. And so I'm like, fuck. And then you ask me like, yo, or better yet, ask me, oh, Jose, you got a show coming up? Yo, can I get a guest set?
Nope.
I'm like, bro, right now I'm trying to get people to come to the
bro.
I don't need more comics.
Right? Can you bring 20 people? That's where bringers.
I don't even no, but I don't.
That's
like,
where we need to bring bringers back.
I don't like that shit neither because I don't believe nobody like that.
Yeah.
Everybody be like, I could bring 10 people, and then the day comes. Oh, they said that they couldn't make it, and oh, they got arrested or whatever the fuck. Yeah. And then, can I still get my time, bro? What the fuck, man?
Right.
You just stole 5 minutes of my goddamn show.
Right.
By telling me I'm gonna bring 15 people. Oh, they not, and then because especially on those nights where you have to, if you don't meet the club minimum, they're very anal about. Well, okay, we have X amount of people. How many people do you think are coming? This is how many people I was told are coming, and then they don't fucking come.
How many times you give them fake ass names and shit?
I don't give fake names because I'm gonna look like a fucking idiot.
Rowan plus 6. She don't come with nobody.
Yeah, Yeah, I put what people
Ryan's like,
tell me.
we went to go get pizza instead.
Always put Rowan plus 25. I'm like, she don't even know 25 people. That includes her aunts, uncles, grandparents.
but in terms of like what the shit that comics do, I don't know, jabs. I'm not really keen on a lot of jabs, man, because like I don't feel like I get a lot of jabs from comics because like I don't really put myself in the position to be jabbed at. You know what I'm saying? Like but there are things that comics do that do bother me. Like for example,
you are on social media, so even something as petty as a social media jab. So go ahead.
Honestly, bro. I cannot recall a time that I was jabbed at on social media. Like
We're jabbing at him later.
No, read my social media. All my social media is just me, just like promoting shows. Like, oh, I got the show coming up. I hardly ever engage. I hardly ever respond to anything like that. Like, if somebody tries to start some shit on social media, I never fucking engage. You know, because it's pointless. It's like it's a pointless argument because you can't really make a point on social media. You know, you're just sitting there typing back at each other and shit. Like, this is a real conversation. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Social media doesn't offer that. So, but the things that comics do that fucking bother me is like when they're like, why is it that in 2022 people still think it's a good idea to have 19 comics on one show?
Yes.
I don't fucking understand the
logic.
Makes
me
I don't understand the logic to that.
Bringers
at all.
Trying to get
no, they're not even bringers.
You know, they think they are. That's the thing.
And the thing is, like, bro, like, why would you create an atmosphere where you're gonna have all these fucking comics? You're fucking you're raping the crowd's energy. Like, you're fucking just making them have to go there and just sit there through 19 fucking comics,
especially on a weekend show.
Yeah, bro. It's like, why the fuck would you do that? It's just bad business. It's bad fucking business. It's crazy, man.
I agree.
So that I'd like to see that shit eradicated like ASAP. Because I still don't fucking understand. So that's my number one pet peeve right there. Comics that just fucking book 19 people on one show. Or promoters.
Hey, even worse, putting on 19 on the flyer.
You feel me though? It's like, what the fuck, man?
I felt bad having to tell people, all right, y'all, I only put me and the headliner on here. It's too many people. And because I asked for pictures. I was going to try to put like 5 on the flyer. And let me get y'all pictures. Pictures wasn't all that. And I'm like, I'm not putting that on a flyer.
Yeah.
I'm not.
Fucking them in the kitchen.
Don't even have a fucking headset.
Hey, I mean, shit. I got to get updated headshots myself, so I definitely feel. But I'm like,
no, I use the older ones. They're skinnier.
Right, yeah. Yeah, no, but in terms of jabs, I don't know if you have any jabs, Jose. Like,
man, I think just the what the fuck was that?
I'm trying to show him how to do it.
just the tone. You know, that certain people have, the condescension that you'll deal with. In particular, I'm always one to highlight San Francisco because it's just a condescending city. Yeah. And so people kind of
really
outside of comedy, it's a bitch ass city. What it's become, not the, you know, with Sunnydale and all them. The motherfuckers is real. But I'm talking about like what it's become now. You know, I think people forget that at the end of the day, you're just a motherfucking person in front of a microphone. So when you forget who you are and then you try to talk to people in a manner, that's where you got me fucked up. Especially because you got me fucked up as a person, and then as my ego, you're not, you know, my ego will get, you're not funnier than me. So don't ever in your life try to get at me like you are, because I'm not gonna get at you like I'm funnier than you, even though I am in my mind. Right. So there's no need for you to get at me because I don't give off that energy. So just the exchanges of energy be off, the tone be off from people. They be tone deaf. But then I also I look internally too, and I try to often realize that one of the hardest realizations too with this is you got to realize, bro, common sense ain't so common, and we are like a bunch of fucking X-Men with different powers. We're not cut from the same cloth. Wolverine is not the same as Cyclops. And that's kind of what it is to be a fucking...
I like his metaphors.
You feel me? I'm pretty good, man. I'm Marvel, pretty good.
Man. Do DC now.
Yeah. but whatchamacallit, just to highlight the point that, yeah, we're comics, but kind of going back to what I got from what you said earlier, like, no, we're not a fucking team. We're not. This is
it's the Wild West.
That's the same thing with we're comics,
you know what's sad,
but we're not the same type of individual. Sometimes we are. Sometimes we resonate on a lot of shit. We got a lot in common. It's cool, but a lot of times, bro, if you're not vibing with another comic, that's where it's like it's okay to charge it to the game and just be like, oh, this motherfucker is just a different type of. I'm a T-Rex. This is a Triceratops. We don't get along.
Right. You can put one on if you want, Rowan. Go for it. Yeah, I see Ryan like she's grabbing one of the jackets. She's freezing up here. We're keeping it cold because it's good to kill COVID. You know.
And I want you guys to know that when I edit this video, I'm going to take out a lot because you guys made me feel like a dick. So
why?
No,
we're just being honest.
Because I realized, like you said, I realized maybe I should have had, and that's where I'm going to take ownership and use some I statements, right?
For sure.
Like I probably should have went out of my way and contacted one of these people and said, "Hey, man, I don't feel comfortable with this. Like, this is how I'm feeling about it. Where could we meet in the middle?"
Right.
And maybe I'm the one who viewed it as a jab, and maybe they didn't even fucking jab.
They probably didn't even jab.
Me.
Yeah.
Maybe it was just me being me and fucking like really like.
Yeah.
And I said it was because it was the way that it all happened though too. So it happened where like I said, when I sent the original message, it didn't get looked at, and then finally, and then I waited to hear back, and then I literally sent back after I sent the clip, like because I was already annoyed about sending the clip. I waited a little bit, and then a couple weeks later, I go, "I guess you didn't like the clip." Like,
right.
So it was already like.
And you hit him back with that.
Yeah. So I was just like.
Dude,
you tell me to send you the clip.
You know why even hit him back though, bro?
Huh?
Why even hit him back? Look. You sent them a message that said, "I guess you didn't like the clip." Duh. It's like why are you even sending them that message? Yeah. They're clearly telling you.
No, but I feel you from a passion place because it's like, bro, if I'm you done lost marriages over this shit. Yeah. You lose a lot of time over this shit. It's a lot of time you could be spending with kids and fixing shit around the house. And you do have a skill set that is good enough, at least to get on these shows that you're referring to where people got you fucked up. So I get it from there.
What you mean at least?
No, I'm saying just to keep it to where we're not making it seem like you're owed something because that's like I said, it's hard to realize nobody owes you nothing. But to an extent, if this was based off merit, absolutely, Ric James should be able to get what Ric James wants out of these particular situations.
Yeah.
Right.
But unfortunately, it's fucked up because it's bro. This is just what's a phrase I've used before? It's better to know that you live in an evil world than it is to have to find out. And that's kind of what it is with comedy. It's better to know that this is a fuck ass game than to have to find out. So moving forward, just like, all right, I know how this shit goes. If they want to bluff me, if they want to act like I'm not him or whatever, okay. I'm mad. My feelings are hurt. It's okay to admit that when my feelings are, because that happens to me all the time. What the fuck you mean? I'm not. I'm looking at the lineup. I could fit in here. I could be a slot receiver in this position right here. Make a couple third down catches. Fuck you talking about? But it's also like, okay, we got to move forward. We got to adjust. Now, how can I build more leverage so then that way whenever we meet again, me and whoever the fuck this person is, I'm overcharging them for what they did to the Cold Crush. Do you feel me?
Somebody gonna drop a Jay-Z bar in the middle.
I'm good, man. I'm good.
I like where you're coming from, Jose, in terms of perspective. You're talking about using perspective to get past some of the obstacles that you see that are in front of you. I would take it even one step further in terms of perspective. Just to encourage that mentality. When you're talking about being successful in this, world that we decided to dive into, I think it's really important to just count all your failures and think about how those failures actually represent your success. Because success, they say, and I really believe this shit, that success is, what did Winston Churchill say? I'm trying to quote Churchill right now. He said, success is just going from failure to failure without losing any
momentum.
No, without losing any enthusiasm. Wow. You feel me?
Yeah.
So it's like the more we fail potentially, the more we can actually be succeeding if we choose to look at it that way. And honestly, bro, like the whole notion of perspective is so important in comedy and in any art form because that's all you have, dog. That's all we have. There's no guidelines. There's no rules. That's how it's supposed to be. Fucking reckless. Yeah. So it's about your perspective. Your perspective is what's going to carry you to your success, And we got to remember that. Otherwise, we ain't going to make it. But furthermore, though.
What is making it?
Exactly, right? No, but furthermore though, fool, like look at what you got going on. You have a whole setup right here. You got guys that are working with you on your creation, which is like this podcast, which is coming directly from your comedy. This is a representation. This is an embodiment of your success. The fact that you're actually putting forth the effort. People are going to remember you. Remember in the car we were talking about your kids watching your podcast in the future, leaving it part of your archives and a part of who you are. You get to leave a piece behind. This is success, man. Motherfuckers need to readjust what their definition of success is, and I bet you they will find themselves engulfed in riches.
A few moments later.
It's your boy Ric James. I'm back with another special gathering to do In My Opinion podcast. I've got Manuel and Marc here. You guys just saw the video, and that's the video that I wanted to talk about. Sometimes as comics, we get in front of ourselves and we talk some shit, and I felt like I did that with the clip. I wanted to bring you both here so that way I can address the problem with you guys, get your feedback, and see how crazy I am, I guess, on the assumptions that I made and the stupid shit that I said on the video prior. I feel like it's a learning experience for myself as well as other comedians might be able to take this and be like, man, sometimes I do that as well. I know it's hard for people to admit when they're wrong, but I'm starting to work on myself. So thank you guys. I want to thank you both for coming and being a part of this podcast so we can address some of the issues that may have been there, may have not been there, right. As well as show other comics that sometimes you guys can talk the shit out. Like, we're all grown-ass fucking people.
I'm highly offended. I'm never going to get over it.
I called my therapist. I didn't have a therapist until this happened. Now I called the therapist.
So,
never again.
So let's dive into it, because first off, I wanna let the viewers know that I contacted you guys just yesterday, and we're setting up at your house. Yeah. You know, thank you for letting me put this all together as quick as we did, so that way I wouldn't hold on to this. We talked about that in the car.
What a fucking podcast setup! I mean, this is
like CBS Live.
Yeah, all I need is my cameraman, but AKA that's my son. That
these NBC Sports goddamn mic holders.
So. Yeah, let's dive into it. Now that you both have seen the video, right? What were your thoughts on it? We'll go with you first.
My initial thought was, you're right, there's a lot of assumptions, right?
Okay.
For example, I don't ask to see clips because I want people to prove they're funny. I ask to see clips because I've never seen them.
Yeah.
Simple as that.
Okay.
So, and I've been to many shows, and there are people on the flyer, and they bomb. And I've been to many shows, and there are people on the flyer, and they kill. Right, so just being on the flyer is not a representative of funny. It's a metric. It's a metric that person's probably funny. And so when I posted that on the Facebook group, like, hey, who wants to be on the show? I got a lot of video clips, and let's say I get 20 clips. Okay. And let's say I watch 10, and I find the 3 or 2 funny out of the 10 that I need. I'll watch the next 10 for the following show, so I don't have to post again. So that's what happened with your clip. Is you submit a clip, a whole bunch of other people submitted clips. I already found the comics that I wanted, and then for the following month, then I went back and rewatched the clips I didn't watch, and then that's when you got selected, and that's. And also December, you were talking about what I do for a living, FedEx contractor. December's a bad month for me. I can't do shit in
Again,
December.
it's the backstory that most people don't understand. And I wanted to put it out there where, like, I didn't even know you guys were doing a show. I won't mention the comic's name, but it was a comic that was on your show probably October or whatever, probably October, November. And he goes, man, you got to check out this room, blah, blah, blah. And I can't remember which one of you guys I hit up first. And I wanted...
on Messenger, Facebook Messenger.
And I wanted to say that the reason I hit up is because I knew he was going to be there that night.
Right.
And I was like, fuck it. Like, you know, we could commute together, and I know the dude will be chill. And then I got the message, send me the clip. And like on the video I said, is I just felt like that comic, like, I guess because I've been in that situation as a promoter, I'd be like, hey, man, do you know so-and-so? And is he funny?
Yeah.
And that's where it started, where when the initial, hey, send me a clip, I was like, did he not ask the dude? And fuck it, I'll send the clip, but let's figure out. So at first I was just like, okay, whatever. And I also want to put it out there where the fact that, how long have you guys been doing comedy? I kind of asked it.
I would say cumulatively about 2 years for me.
About 2 years.
Me, I'm a low-level piece of shit, lousy comic, so it's very 2 years.
Okay.
And I'm low-level, and that first year doesn't even count. I was just at a coffee shop once every 2 weeks. So.
And I'm not putting it out there like, okay, well, you guys haven't been doing comedy long enough.
Right.
But I am putting it out there as the fact that, for me, and again, I have to realize where I made the assumptions. For me, I was like, dude, I've been doing comedy out here for over fucking 10 years. Why do I need to send you a clip type shit? And that was me owning that now that I've looked back at the clip and been like, but again, if you watch the podcast, I say it on there most of the time, is I tell people, I'm like, I've done enough comedy, paid my dues. We had a clip about paying your dues and doing all that shit where I'm like, dude, I either want a feature or I want a headline at this point because I know I'm that funny. I've featured and I've headlined at comedy clubs. I've done other things. So it was just the point where when I sent the clip, I didn't get anything back. And then again,
that's my fault. I didn't hit you back for a month.
But
right?
now that you're saying is you might have been busy.
It was just
you might have been busy. So again, it's me making the assumption that this motherfucker blew me off and you're just busy, right?
It's like my company will do a certain amount of volume, and then during Christmas it does almost 2.5 times. So it's like, I mean, I'm just struggling to sleep.
He was screwed. He was all stressed out and shit. Me, I putting together shows.
You seem like the relaxed one out of the two.
No, I'm not.
No, he's gonna have a schizophrenic breakdown.
No, people. I've gotten called autistic so many times this last month. I'm becoming autistic.
He's Lodi's autistic future school shooter.
Yeah, it sucks, but whatever. I'll roll with it.
Okay.
Basically, man, putting together shows sucks because you have to put on a couple of your friends. You got to put on a girl. You got to have this guy. You got to have like a good. And then
what the fuck are you? You got to put on a girl. No,
you got to put on a girl.
No, you got to put on funny. That's all we do.
Variety. This is the spice of life.
And sometimes variety makes funny.
But sometimes we'll put together a show and somebody like, hey, it's a lot of weird mix of like high energy, low energy, and then you keep like the clip earlier. Telling other comics you'll put them on, I don't know how to do it. I always just say, yeah, I'll have you on mind. I think I might just not respond anymore. I don't know, because there's always like etiquette when it comes to doing this comedy shit. And I'm new and I'm trying to be like, I don't know. I think I should just say everyone's hilarious at this point, because I don't want to piss off anybody. I'm trying to make a name for myself and not be all crummy towards others. 'Cause then, who knows who you're talking to?
Can I ask you, did it rub you a certain way watching the video?
No. I mean, I don't really
and
care.
Honestly,
you probably took it as like, what, these dudes, I got to be honest, I've never seen your stuff before.
So I would say this, Rick, after watching the video, you definitely put like conversations into your sphere that were like based on us that never happened.
Yeah.
Like the lineup, for example. Marc makes the lineup. So Marc made the lineup, never seeing your clip. I didn't send him your clip because this is the way we do shit, right? To avoid like personalities. We book 4 comedians, right, and 1 headliner. He books 2, and I don't have a say in who he books. I book 2. He doesn't have a say.
I can't wait to book one of the motherfuckers. Hey, I can't wait. He's going to be there in the May show. And he's going to be glorious.
First off, if it's who you're talking about, I don't hate him. It's just not my style of comedy.
Okay.
But he books 2, I book 2, and then 1 month he'll book the headliner. The next month I'll book the headliner. So that way, because I wanted to avoid like that, why you booking this person? It's like, well, I don't say shit because he doesn't say shit on who I book.
Okay.
Now, sometimes we'll talk about it. Right, if like we're vehemently opposed, but for the most part, we respect our freedom to be like, "Yo, man, create your half."
Yeah. Also, I'm low-level, a worthless autistic comic, so some of these comics I've just never seen before. I've like heard of the names, but some of them like, I don't know if they're there's been a few comedy shows I've been to where it's like, I've heard this person, they're on the flyer, I can't wait to see them, and then you watch their shit and you're like, wow, that wasn't really much of anything. What the fuck was that? So some of these people, you know, it's a metric. They're on a bunch of things, but are they actually really good? You know, I don't mean that towards you. I just mean that in general.
No. I totally understand what you guys mean. And again, it wasn't until it was brought up and Rudy he gave it to me that whole episode we were doing shit. And that's where I was like, man, maybe I
like Rudy. He's a good man. I like him.
I mean, I think he said I infiltrated like on 3 different clips where I was like, motherfucker, right? So it wasn't until I got to realize where I was like, man, sometimes, and that's why I wanted to do this, is because sometimes comics assume shit and we don't have all the facts in front of us. And that's why I was like, you know, I get mad at comics not knowing that I've been in this game, but I also don't do comedy as much. Right. I tell people, and I purposely don't, because for me it is a trigger where I'm like, dude, I'm going out here and I'm doing this, and for who? For whom? And I say, it's one of those things where I've said on a past clip where a comic will list 20 fucking gigs that they have. Mm-hmm. And I've said, now put how much money you're making. None. And I said, because I bet you it's Laughs Unlimited minus $25, Punchline minus $25. Yeah, right. You know, because it's all these off days, and they think they're professional, and I'm like, that's not a professional comic. It means, to me, a professional comic means you can pay your fucking bills off of this shit, and go to a bank and get a home loan because you get paid so much doing a fucking a comedy bit,
and
right?
Who does that around here?
Ellis. I think it's just Ellis, right?
Maybe just Ellis.
Maybe.
So, and then that's the other thing is I have to ask. I didn't want to ask how long you guys been doing comedy for it to be like a negative thing, but I wanted to know like how long and where you guys have been, because that's the other thing. Again, there's these variables. Is of course, because who asked me yesterday? Oh, aren't you from the Bay Area?
That was me.
I'm like, yeah. So most people will ask me, or think that I'm from the Bay. And I'm like, no, dude, I live in Modesto. But I hardly ever do comedy out in the Central Valley.
Right.
And there's been other reasons why I don't do comedy out in the Central Valley. But I kind of stay in the Bay Area. My home club is at Tommy T's. And I'm always there doing something. So where... that's the thing is I've got to realize, like, if I'm doing stage time now, I've got to make it count for something. I either got to break even or I've got to be put in a situation. I talk about that on the film where I was like, if you put me in a situation where I can at least sell my merch and I can make gas money, then I feel like it would do me just fine. Because I've said that on past clips. I said I've been put on, I do a lot of work with Kabir Singh. And he's the one with the TV credits. Mm-hmm. So if I get a guest set from him, I'm like, dude, as long as I do 10 minutes and I rock a 200 people crowd, there's been shows that I've done where I've made $160 in merchandise because I did well enough to be like, cool. Like, you didn't have to pay me because at least I was funny enough to sell some merch. Yeah. So that's the way I look at it, where a younger comic, I get it. I get that you want to do the stage time, but for me, it's been to a point where I don't want to just do the stage time. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. For me, it's got to count for something because, like I said, on other clips, you guys don't know me very well. So you wouldn't know that I tell people when I started comedy, I bought my car with like 700 miles. Within 3 years, I had 100,000 miles on it. Yeah. So you don't know that I've been driving. That's why nobody knows me from out here, because I was driving to the Bay Area 5 times a fucking week, putting miles on my car and trying to hit mics and do shit. So, that's where I'm like, I've paid my dues. I've done that shit. And I really don't want to do any free shows anymore. So again, it was my mistake, but I put it out there in the atmosphere like it was you guys' fault that I went and did your show. And I was like... Rudy, I think you're right. Like, it was my fault. This whole fucking thing was my fault, right? Like, I'm a dick, right?
It's
imaginary demons.
And it's just that I've been doing it longer, so I'm jaded. I don't want to fucking... Because the longer you get into it, the more you realize, man, no wonder these people are my friends, because they want me to be their manager / agent and go book them on shit. Yeah. Like I said, I've put together over 150 shows and put together big shows and put together smaller shows and put together open mics. And I realized, like I said, it's been an ego thing when I started where I was like, yeah, I'm throwing a show here. And then I realized, like, dude, I did all the work. And I went home break even, and I paid all the other comics. Where it seems like I'm a dick, but I'm not being a dick. I'm just totally jaded and frustrated with the situation, so I'm trying to make a change.
You'll get there.
I'm glad we cleared it up. I'm sorry that you felt like, we were dissing you, but not at all, man. Just miscommunication.
Yeah. Thank you guys,
there was one more thing.
What?
When you hit me up and you're like, oh, check with the other comic to see if I'm funny. I barely even knew the other comic. And the other comic at that time, I hadn't even met him in person. Or no, he was just at our show and that was it. Yeah. I never seen him at another mic. He just moved into the area. I didn't have a relationship with him like that where I'd be like, yo, what's up with this guy? You know what I mean?
It was no hard feeling.
Because again, I didn't even know him really. I thought you guys had actually known each other as well. So again, it was all miscommunication. Thank you guys, man. Thank you guys for sitting down with me.
I'll say this: you're funny as fuck that night, so it's no hard feelings. I didn't give a shit.
Boy, Charlie Murphy, my main man, Ric James. That's the one you think, the comedian Ric James. Get up.
I can't hear my neighbor crying. I can't breathe.
Don't forget to hit the subscribe button, as well as the notification bell. Thank you for watching.